stop for a moment. Don't move. Listen carefully, because something is happening to you right now. And even if you can't see it with your eyes, your spirit has already felt the shift. There is a presence around you, a stirring in the unseen, a tightening of the atmosphere that has been following you for days, maybe even weeks. You thought it was worry. You thought it was pressure. But what you are feeling is your spirit recognizing a hidden movement in the realm around you. There are moments in your life when heaven leans closer to speak, when the veil thins and you feel guided without understanding why. This is one of those moments. Something's reaching for your attention because something has been reaching for your destiny. And the time has come for the truth behind that disturbance to be exposed. The air around you has been shifting because what surrounds your life is not random. The heaviness, the unusual dreams, the sudden waves of intuition, the repeated numbers, the moments where your heart jolted for no reason. None of it was coincidence. You were sensing an approach, a watching, an intention that did not come from you. And today, that intention is being revealed so you can reclaim your ground. Before you go any further, write your warmest wishes in the comments and seal them with 777 as your activation code. This moment is a crossing point, and your words will shape the energy you step into next. Do not hesitate. Release what you desire. Release what you fear. Release what you hope heaven is preparing for you. As you write 777, you mark your life with spiritual alignment, a declaration that you step forward, protected, awakened, and aware of the unseen movements near your path. After you do that, like this video with intention and subscribe with authority, because these moments of revelation are meant to reach you repeatedly, not by accident, but by design. You have felt targeted spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and you have sensed eyes on your breakthroughs long before they even formed. A force has been studying you, observing your steps, waiting for a doorway into your vulnerabilities. Your spirit already knew this, and now your mind must catch up to what your soul has been trying to say. Write your wishes, seal them with 777. Step into alignment now. There are times when heaven exposes what has been circling your life, not to frighten you, but to strengthen you. For months you have been feeling a strange pull, a subtle tension beneath the surface of your daily life. You blamed stress, but this wasn't stress. This was spiritual surveillance. Something in the unseen recognized your potential before you fully saw it yourself. There is a blueprint written inside you, a frequency encoded in your spirit, a divine signature that cannot be erased, altered, or stolen. Those who operate in darkness can sense this signature, even when you try to hide it. That is why you sometimes feel watched when no one is there, why you feel drained after encountering certain people, why your dreams have carried warnings that didn't make sense until now. The truth is simple. Your light has been louder than your silence, and your destiny has been echoing through realms you cannot see. You were never walking unnoticed. You were walking marked by heaven. And anything marked by heaven becomes a target for forces that fear what you are about to become. Your soul has been undergoing a transformation that even you have not fully understood. There have been nights where your chest felt tight for no physical reason, as if your heart was expanding beyond the limits of your body. That was not anxiety. That was cellular reconstruction. Angels have been touching parts of you that were damaged long ago, wounds you hid from others, memories you buried so deeply you assumed they no longer held power. Each time you felt sudden heat on your skin, each time you felt a vibration inside your chest, each time you woke up with your breath caught between two worlds, heaven was performing surgery, divine rewiring, frequency alignment, Eden memory awakening, unlocking the parts of you that remember who you were before the world wounded you. You have not been losing yourself. You have been returning to yourself. But with every awakening comes resistance. Not everyone around you understood the transformation you were entering. Some sensed your rising even before you spoke a word about it. Some felt threatened by your healing, by your clarity, by the quiet strength growing behind your eyes. Your glow made their shadows uncomfortable. Your growth made their stagnation unbearable. Your spiritual acceleration exposed their emotional laziness, and without realizing it, they began to project, to question, to doubt, to mock, to withdraw, to speak behind closed doors. Their words became arrows. Their envy became poison. Their intentions became subtle traps dressed as concern. These were not coincidences. These were indicators that a higher shift was approaching your life. When heaven prepares someone, the atmosphere reacts first. People reveal themselves. Energies collide. Masks fall. Truth rises. You have been walking with a weight on your shoulders that wasn't visible to others. You tried to explain it, but no explanation felt accurate enough. How do you describe a spiritual pressure to someone who only interprets life in physical terms? How do you express that something unseen has been following your steps, observing your choices, studying your weaknesses? But here is the truth. You were not imagining it. What you felt was real. The spiritual realm has been responding to your destiny, and not all responses were sent from heaven. Some came from forces that recognized your potential long before you stepped into it. Darkness studies those who carry divine assignments. It watches closely, waiting for moments of exhaustion, distraction, heartbreak, confusion. It waits for the crack in your armor. But heaven does not reveal an enemy unless victory is near. You are being awakened not to fear, but to prepare. There is a frequency in your spirit that has been rising. You have been hearing things differently. Colors feel louder. Silence feels deeper. Your intuition has sharpened into something almost prophetic. You no longer just feel emotions. You discern energies. This is the sign of a spiritual upgrade. Your DNA has been shifting, aligning with a divine sequence written before your birth. This awakening is not random. It is not sudden. It is encoded. As it was spoken to the prophets, those who carry certain assignments will always feel pressure before elevation. You are in that pressure zone now. And pressure attracts attention, not only from heaven, but from those threatened by what you are becoming. Yet even in all of this, something inside you refuses to break. You have endured emotional betrayal, unexpected loss, exhaustion, isolation, confusion, and battles that no one knows you are still fighting. And yet, your spirit did not collapse. Your hope did not disappear. Something kept pulling you forward when you should have stopped. Something kept whispering when the world became silent. Something kept protecting you when logic said you should have fallen apart. That something is the mark on your life, the spiritual seal that has been guarding you since the moment you entered this world. You have walked through storms that were designed to destroy you, and still you stand. This alone terrifies the forces that have been observing you. They cannot understand how you survived, how you healed, how you rose, how you continue to carry light after everything that tried to dim you. There are testimonies rising from people connected to this same spiritual shift. A woman who felt drained for years woke up one morning with strength she couldn't explain. Doctors called it recovery. Heaven called it restoration. A man who carried heaviness in his chest for months suddenly felt a release that no treatment could produce. That was angelic intervention, unseen hands removing what darkness tried to attach to him. Another felt a pressure behind their forehead, like heat or electricity. This was not illness. This was a divine download, reactivating spiritual memory. These testimonies mirror the process unfolding inside you. You may not know it yet, but your spirit recognizes the truth in their stories because you are experiencing the same reconstruction. This is not imagination. This is transformation. And now, heaven is revealing what has been hidden. The pressure you feel is connected to the magnitude of your assignment. The attention on your life is not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. The interference around you is not a sign of defeat, but evidence of purpose. What has been studying you has failed to stop you. What has been challenging you has failed to break you. And what has been targeting you will soon witness your rise. But you must listen carefully now, because what happens next will require awareness, discernment, and spiritual strength. The wind around your life is shifting again, and you can feel it in the way your heart reacts before your mind understands. There are moments when your spirit alerts you long before danger arrives. Moments when the invisible becomes louder than the visible. And this season has been full of those signals. You have felt coldness from warm people, hesitation from those who once supported you, sudden distance from those who claimed loyalty. These shifts were not accidents. These were spiritual indicators revealing who could not walk with you into the next dimension of your calling. When heaven elevates someone, it filters their surroundings first. Those who carry jealousy cannot walk with you. Those who speak lightly of your name cannot protect what is connected to your destiny. Those who underestimate your spirit cannot handle the weight of your future. You have been feeling the edges of this separation, a quiet thinning of your circle, a silent correction of your trust. And though it felt like loss, it was actually protection. You have been undergoing a rare kind of awakening, one that only a few experience in their lifetime. This awakening is not emotional, it is structural. Your inner world has been remodeled, your spiritual senses have been sharpened, your perception has expanded beyond old limits. At times it felt like confusion, but it was clarity emerging. At times it felt like isolation, but it was consecration. At times it felt like your world was shrinking, but in truth, your spirit was widening. The disconnection you experienced from certain people was not punishment. It was an evolutionary upgrade. Your soul has been preparing for the kind of insight that cannot exist in environments built on noise. Heaven often pulls you into silence when revelation is near. That silence is not empty. It is the sound of angels working, rearranging timelines, breaking cycles, adjusting pathways. You were being positioned, even on the nights when you felt forgotten. There is a supernatural reason you have been sensing danger without seeing anything physically wrong. Your intuition has been vibrating at a higher frequency, because your spirit recognizes movements that your natural eyes cannot detect. Certain energies have been trying to approach you. Certain intentions have been forming around you. Certain individuals have been observing you in silence. They watch your growth, your resilience, your ability to rise after every setback, and they do not understand how you keep moving. There are individuals whose spirits react to your presence because your light exposes their shadows. There are those who pretend support but carry envy. And there are those whose words sound kind but whose hearts tremble at the power you carry. You must not misinterpret your intuition as paranoia. Discernment is the internal alarm system installed by heaven. When your spirit senses movement, trust it. You have experienced pressure in your chest, heaviness in your head, vibrations in your hands, sudden waves of emotion that you could not explain. These are not random. These are signs of spiritual interference meeting spiritual acceleration. Your inner world is transforming faster than the outer world can adapt. There are frequencies around you that cannot withstand your growth, and that friction manifests physically. At night, when you felt watched, when your dreams carried symbols you could not understand, when your mind felt both exhausted and awake. This was your spirit stepping into realms you are only now beginning to grasp. Divine rewiring requires periods of internal turbulence. When heaven updates your identity, your old fears, old wounds, and old enemies sense the shift. They feel the rising authority in your voice, the new strength in your presence, the clarity forming behind your eyes. And they react. But with every reaction from darkness comes a counter-movement from heaven. Even as certain energies attempt to reach you, angels have been stationed at the edges of your life, guarding your sleep, interrupting attacks, redirecting harm, and blocking invisible threats. Some nights you woke up suddenly without knowing why. That was intervention. There were situations that should have gone wrong, but didn't. That was protection. There were words spoken against you that should have manifested as obstacles, but never did. That was deflection. Angels have been performing unseen surgery on your spirit, removing contamination, healing fractures, sealing breaches, repairing what was weakened by past battles. You are not walking alone, even when the room feels empty. You have never fought alone, even when you felt outnumbered. Every time you survived what should have broken you, heaven was revealing its involvement. This season demands that you understand how valuable you truly are. You are not targeted because you are weak. You are targeted because you carry the kind of spiritual authority that threatens anything built on deception. You have something inside you that darkness fears, something ancient, something written into your spiritual DNA long before you took your first breath. Your presence shifts atmospheres, your words break patterns, your healing disrupts generational wounds, your endurance frustrates the plans of those who wish you would collapse. They expected you to fail. They expected you to give up. They expected you to drown in your pain. And yet you rose. And every time you rise, their confusion deepens. They cannot understand the unseen hands that lift you. They cannot understand the strength that appears when you are exhausted. They cannot understand how you remain calm in storms that should have drowned you. This is why you were studied. This is why you were monitored. This is why your spirit felt watched. There is a divine timeline converging around you right now. Threads of events, decisions, emotions, and memories are being woven into something larger than your understanding. You are stepping into a season where nothing will be accidental. Every meeting, every message, every dream, every sudden realization will be purposeful. You will begin to see patterns you never noticed before. People will reveal who they truly are. Words will expose intentions. Your intuition will sharpen into precision. You will discern motives instantly. This is not coincidence. This is awakening. As it was written for those who walked before you, those called to higher realms must walk with higher awareness. You are being elevated into that awareness now. Even your past is shifting. Things you once tolerated will no longer sit comfortably in your spirit. Behaviors you once ignored will now feel unacceptable. Environments you once settled for will now feel suffocating. This is the effect of spiritual expansion. Your soul rejects what your destiny cannot carry. You cannot shrink into the person you used to be. You cannot pretend not to know what you now understand. You cannot dim your inner voice to make others comfortable. Your spirit has outgrown old versions of you, and this is where the resistance intensifies. Because every time you rise, shadows tremble. Every time you ascend, darkness recalculates. Every time you awaken, old forces attempt to pull you back into cycles you have already outgrown. But hear this clearly. Nothing can pull you backward unless you agree to shrink. Nothing can stop your elevation unless you surrender your momentum. Nothing can access your spirit unless you open the door. And heaven is revealing this now because the next stage of your journey requires conscious protection. Your spirit is too precious, your calling too significant, your destiny too activated for you to walk unaware. Awareness is armor. Discernment is shield. Alignment is weapon. You are stepping into a realm where your light will grow louder, your voice will grow stronger, and your presence will shift atmospheres without you saying a word. And because of this, forces that once observed you from a distance may attempt to come closer. This is why you must remain aligned. This is why your spirit must stay awake. This is why your heart must stay guarded. You are not at the beginning of your story. You are at the turning point. You are stepping into the chapter where everything hidden becomes visible, where everything stolen is restored, where every wound becomes wisdom, and every obstacle becomes the very path that leads you into your calling. But you must prepare yourself for what heaven is about to reveal next, because the truth emerging around you will change the way you see your past, your relationships, your battles, and your destiny. The air around you shifts again, as if the unseen world is taking one final breath before unveiling what has been concealed for far too long. There is a quiet trembling in your spirit right now, a subtle vibration beneath your ribs, because you can feel that this moment is not ordinary. It is as though time itself has paused to let you understand what your journey has been shaping you for. Every hardship, every disappointment, every sudden betrayal, every sleepless night, every strange spiritual pressure, every moment you felt watched or weighed down, it has all been leading you to this revelation. You were not walking through chaos. You were walking through calibration. Heaven was adjusting you, sharpening you, strengthening the very parts of you that the unseen world thought were your weaknesses. What you mistook for breaking was actually rebuilding. There is a truth you must receive now. You are no longer who you were when this battle began. You have been reconstructed from the inside out. Your cells have been rewritten with clarity. Your spirit has been tuned to a higher frequency. Your intuition has matured into a prophetic compass. Your heart has learned to recognize intentions behind faces. Your mind has learned to interpret signals from realms most people never touch. The version of you standing here now is not fragile, not confused, not easily swayed. You have become someone darkness cannot decipher. Every attempt to weaken you has only reinforced your foundation. Every attack against your identity has only clarified your calling. Every silent weapon formed against you has revealed the armor you didn't know was already woven into your soul. There were forces that approached you believing you were unguarded. They studied you in the shadows, watching for emotional cracks, waiting for moments of exhaustion, hoping your loneliness would make you vulnerable. But they miscalculated. They saw your sensitivity, but misunderstood its purpose. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is a divine sensor, a spiritual radar that detects corruption long before it arrives. You were never unprotected. You were simply being elevated into awareness so that you would stop walking blindly into places your destiny could no longer afford. You have been awakened so thoroughly that even subtle energies now reveal themselves to you. You feel intentions before you hear words. You sense danger before you see action. Your spirit reacts before your mind understands why. This is not fear. This is mastery. As you stand on the edge of the next chapter, heaven is making one thing unmistakably clear. You are stepping into a territory your enemies hoped you would never reach. The realm you are entering requires strength, discernment, and spiritual intelligence, and you now possess all three. The pressure that once felt unbearable has become your training ground. The silence that once felt empty has become your sanctuary. The pain that once felt senseless has become your initiation. You survived emotional ambushes that were meant to destroy your confidence. You walked away from relationships heaven never approved. You endured seasons where you had to rebuild yourself without applause, without reassurance, without guidance. And despite everything, your spirit did not bow. There is a moment in every chosen person's life where heaven says, enough. Enough fear. Enough interference. Enough delay. Enough spiritual surveillance. Enough of the enemy circling your potential. You have reached that moment now. The cycle that once held you is shattered. The shadow that followed you is dismissed. The heaviness that clung to your shoulders loses its grip. What once drained you no longer has access to your energy. What once confused you now reveals its true nature. What once intimidated you now trembles at the strength you carry. You are walking out of this season with an upgraded identity, fortified discernment, and protection that no force in the unseen can penetrate. And now, heaven releases this final truth into your spirit. The enemy did not come after you because you were weak. The enemy came after you because you were becoming unstoppable. Every assignment formed against you has failed. Every whispered curse has collapsed. Every spiritual disturbance has been neutralized. You are stepping forward with a reinforced spirit, a recalibrated destiny, and a level of awareness that ensures you will never again walk unaware of the movements around you. You are not merely protected, you are untouchable. You are not merely guarded, you are backed by realms that darkness cannot enter. You are not merely chosen, you are awakened. Walk now with your head lifted, your discernment sharpened, and your destiny unlocked. The forces that once circled you have lost their authority. The path ahead is yours, cleared, blessed, illuminated. Move forward, fearless, aligned, and unshaken, for heaven has already gone before you.